Close your eyes and imagine that you're at a pool party on a hot summer evening. The sun is going down and the party is starting. You're getting nervous as more people show up. Everyone is chatting, enjoying themselves, and having a good time. Now imagine yourself trapped in a bubble. You are part of the crowd, yet unable to communicate or connect with them. You're too anxious to say a word, too stressed about what someone might think of you. You have no motivation to interact with those around you. You are filled with a sense of hopelessness and sadness. You feel so secluded, yet included at the same time. Now open your eyes and look around you. Chances are someone near you has felt this way before. That person may even be you. This is just one example of how someone may feel while suffering from a mental disorder. It feels like they're drowning in water, only the water is life. Mental illness has been around for decades. Researchers have been working hard to pinpoint what exactly causes these disorders. Approximately 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness every year. These mental illnesses can sprout from different factors and range from person to person. No one disorder is identical to the other. Today, I'm going to inform you about what depression, anxiety, and stress are, and how each of them compare to one another, how depression varies among cultures, and why these mental illnesses should be taken seriously. First, depression. According to the American Psychiatric Association, depression is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. The brain is a highly specialized organ that is responsible for not only how we can move, speak, and breathe, but also how we feel. It controls our emotions from the help of neurotransmitters. This is a neurotransmitter. Think of it as a bunch of tiny robots swimming around in your head, and when something happens, the end bulb on a specific neurotransmitter reacts. It turns on and attaches to the brain, which sends a signal to the rest of our body telling us how we should feel. It can tell us if we should feel sad or happy, or if we should feel pain. There's a lot more to this process, but for the sake of this speech, I'll keep it simple. This can be a cause of depression, a chemical imbalance. Depression can also be genetic. In fact, the American Psychiatric Association found that if an identical twin suffers from depression, the other twin is 70% likely to also suffer from this disorder later in life. Other things such as medications, certain illnesses, and environmental factors are just a few causes of depression. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, nearly half of those diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, which leads me to my next point, anxiety. Anxiety is a mental disorder that results in a feeling of constant worry or fear. These emotions can interfere with a person's everyday activities. Like depression, anxiety can stem from a variety of factors including genetics, chemical imbalances, or personality. Medication is one way to cope with anxiety, but there are natural ways to also help when you are feeling overly anxious. Taking a walk, meditating, or writing about your emotions are just a few. The key is finding a distraction from your inner emotions. Lastly, stress. Though stress is not technically a mental illness, continuous mental or emotional stress can cause mental health issues such as the ones mentioned earlier. Stress is your body's natural defender. When you are put in a dangerous situation, your body naturally defends itself with a method known as the fight or flight method. This is your body's way of protecting you and keeping you alert. Symptoms for all 3 mental health disorders mentioned are very similar to one another. This includes feeling sad, loss of energy, headaches, change in sleep, and difficulty concentrating. Fortunately, all of these disorders are treatable. Some believe in natural ways while others opt for medication. Regardless of your choice, they all serve the same purpose to help balance the chemicals in your brain. So now that we have taken a look at these disorders, let's talk about how mental illness can vary among cultures. Mental health is perceived inversely among different ethnicities. This is due to a difference in religious beliefs, upbringing, and environmental factors. According to United for Sight, there was a study performed between Indian students and American students comparing their attitude toward mental illness. This study found that Indian students view depression as something that is in one's own control. For example, failure to achieve a goal. They also felt that spiritual reflection or relaxation are the best ways to deal with depression. It's very beneficial to explore how mental illness is perceived among cultures to help physicians better understand how to treat all patients no matter their ethnicity. This would also result in more people seeking help if they knew they would receive the care they prefer. Now that we know a little about how mental illness varies among cultures, let's look at the dangers of mental illness and why it should be taken seriously. A major risk for mental health disorders is suicide. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in America and the second leading cause among people ages 15 to 24. According to Mental Health America, 8 in 10 people considering suicide give some sign of their intentions. A few signs of suicide include verbal threats, such as, "You'd be better off without me," depression, and lack of interest in future plans. If you or someone you know needs help, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. There's always someone out there to help. It's just a matter of reaching out and using your resources. In conclusion, we have talked about what depression, anxiety, and stress are and how each of them are closely associated to one another. These illnesses are becoming more common in our society, and many don't realize that someone is suffering in darkness and secretly begging for help. Educating ourselves and those around us is the only true way to make a difference. So lend a helping hand the next time you see someone in need, because you never know what ugly monster they are battling behind a closed door.